Hello everyone, welcome back to Greyhammer. Today we're going to be going over all the pieces in the new DLC and all the animals, but let's get into the pieces first because you're probably less interested in that. So if you don't want to buy the pack for some reason, this is the free pieces that come with it. We'll also have a free, just different, we'll get a free animal as well, which we'll go over later. But you've got these font pieces. They are lit, so if we change it to day or to night, then we get this kind of texture here where it's kind of a light glow, but you could change this to whatever color you wanted to. It's a little weird the way that it does that. Huh. But yeah, you could make nice street signs with that, but let's get back to day. So you've got some reworked font pieces that are lit. That's pretty cool. And then this flower, the Chinese lantern, which looks pretty good for like you could make some hedges with it. It looks very similar to plants like that. Really nicely textured. Let's get into some pieces. I've seen a lot of people upset about these pieces because they do also glow in the dark, and they would like that you can't turn it off. And people wondering what these are ever going to be used for. Personally, I think they work really well with the different. If you were making like there's like lantern shows around Christmas, you could make like animals out of these shapes and have them as these lanterns. Could be interesting. Let's get into some other pieces as well. So we've got this lantern here, and then these bell pieces, very small pieces. In fact, I think the egg was the previously smallest piece in the game, and it's smaller still, but we'll actually get a piece that is smaller than the egg pieces. Signs are spectacular as always. We've got some palm fronds, which you could use to make like your own custom plants. These aren't flexicolor, but this one is, so you could make this into all kinds of decorative, like however you want to make this. Metallic. You've got this panel, which is also flexicolor, and if you start like, you could make some nice patterns with this, and you could also use it as a door frame. Could be useful as well. You've got these, which are all flexicolor, which is pretty cool. I don't know. So this is more helpful in your highly themed zoos. Similar here. This is very much in this kind of same set. So you could use these to make like a bamboo forest for like Christmas or whatever, or you could just use it if you want a more highly themed like guest area for Japan. I might actually use these for my Japanese section. You could also use this for like an Amazon rainforest almost. And then this is going to be great for the Japanese area as well. And you've got lotus pieces, you've got the plum blossom. Oh, that's the plum blossom bud, my bad. But that's the lotus petal. Then you've got these marigold bundles of flowers, which I'm probably not going to use too much, but you can. You've got these wood panels, which if we just turn these into like a brownish color, desaturate that. I just want to see what they look like as a sort of wood texture. But these you could probably use with the tropical pieces. If you use like this piece, for example, they look very similar. The question is, does their texture look similar? I think so. I've heard this explained as the Tropical Pack Part 2, which is pretty accurate. It's got some really great animal models that we'll get to in a little bit, but just hold on for a second. We want to get all these pieces because they're super useful. So does look like you'd have to color match, but you've got all these different pieces, pretty small pieces. And now we'll get into, well, before we get into those, we've got the honey badger reward statue, which is pretty cool. I don't care about those as much. And then here we have the LED light panels, which are going to be super useful, especially these ones, which it's a 0.25 by 0.25, which is the smallest we've got in game. So you can actually create some really nice custom signage with these, especially with the lit font pieces as well. And you've got all these different sizes. So you can change color like we did with the previous ones. And if we take this to the night, they kind of glow in the dark. And then you've got all these pieces. So you've got the kind of tube bracket. This is the smallest piece in game currently now, which is going to be super useful for people to create. And you can turn it off, which is great. So going to be super useful for people making prop animal packs. These are all recolorable, so you could make whatever you want out of them. And I want to say, let me see. If we put them, let's go to day. Sorry, this is the part that's probably not as interesting. But for me, yeah, they're thinner than the marquee beams. Probably thinner than the metal beams as well. Yep. So you're going to be able to create really nice aviaries with these. Let's get into the other thing that comes with the free update, and that's the Malabar rose butterfly. I didn't really deck this habitat out as very well, but there we go. If we hit play, we can get to one of the animals and just... They look really spectacular. They have interspecies enrichment with all the other butterfly species, so that's really cool. And it's an endangered species of butterfly that you get for free, which means you're going to be able to make your franchise packs look even nicer. Let's go to the star of the pack, at least in Frontier's eyes, and that is the honey badger. They walk so funnily, and I'm just enjoying taking it all in. If we go and look at the species in the Zoopedia, so their least concern, spread across sub-Saharan Africa, and then the Middle East, Turkmenistan, and India. They do require quite a lot of land. I was hoping that Planet Zoo Plus would update and I could see like how much I'd need for my enclosures. Hopefully, Planet Zoo Plus will update, and that will be fine. You can only keep 1 to 2. They are found in deserts, grasslands, and tropical, so it gives you lots of options. Group size of 1 to 2. Loose dominance. You can't. None of the species here, I think, you can do walkthrough exhibits with. The male's a little bit bigger than the female. So enrichment looks like they use pretty similar to Wolverine, but they don't use the tug rope, which is weird. That's certainly an odd choice. So I wonder what their rig is based off of, if they have a new rig. From what I understand, they cannot climb. So I wonder if they use like the European Badger rig, but their walk is very distinct. So yeah, we're getting all the other animals in. Let's go to one of the other animals of the pack. These are the lion-tailed macaques. These guys are awesome, as males and females look pretty much exactly the same. They look incredible. And let's get into some Zoopedia facts about them. So, they need 400 square meters. It goes up by 35 each one, so if you want a group of 6, you need 575. Um, I really need to get Planet Zoo Plus working for these guys. Only found in tropical, they are endangered. Oh, and found in the Western Ghats region of India. Group size of 3 to 20, so can make a pretty large troop of these guys. The males and females are exactly the same, except the females weigh less. Basically, that's all good there. Let's see. They don't use so they're not using the Japanese macaque rig because, or at least they're not using the same enrichment. So they've got a lot of different enrichment options, which is cool. Um, but they're not using some of the Japanese macaque ones like the hot water tap. But they look pretty nice. If we had time later on, we'll look into their animations. But let's look at 2 of the ungulates of the pack, the black buck and the nilgai. So these guys look really, really good. That's the male, and the females over here. So they look really, really nice. They did a lot of detail here on the face and all that. And if we go to Zoopedia, least concern again, these guys are pretty widely distributed. Can live in tropical and grasslands. I was honestly expecting them to be able to live in the temperate regions as well. Not too big of a space requirement for them, but they're certainly interesting. And then if we go to species data, 3 to 10, so that's pretty nice. Only 1 male, as you'd kind of expect. Males are larger than females. They're shy, which is a little unfortunate. Research status, they use pretty standard enrichment. And they can go with the Indian rhinoceros, the nilgai, and the wild water buffalo. Speaking of nilgai, this is the female nilgai. These are also known as the blue bucks, and you'll kind of gather when you see the male right here. Oh, he's blinking for us. But I really, really like these guys. They look like you mixed a horse with a cow mixed with an antelope. It's quite interesting. And if we look at their Zoopedia, least concern, India, Nepal, Bangladesh, Pakistan, tropical and grasslands. Again, kind of would expect some temperate to be in that range, but 3 to 10, again, very similar. Males are significantly larger than the females. And then if we look, they can use the mud bath, which is pretty cool. But other than that, they are pretty standard. Wild water buffalo, Indian rhino, and black buck. Those are kind of standard Indian species to have enrichment with. Let's go to our next species, our conservation success story, which are just getting introduced now, so we need to hit play. I've heard multiple different ways to pronounce it, so I'm just going to pronounce it the way I know how to. It's the Pierre David's deer. I'm sure it's Pierre or something like that, but I'm going to just say Pierre David's. So this is a female. You can kind of see that elongated snout that's very different for this species. They are semi-aquatic, and so if we go to the Zoopedia page for them, they're extinct in the wild, which is pretty cool. I mean, not cool, but also it is pretty cool. So they're only in these very small areas of China, and they're aquatic and temperate. For a group of 3, which is the minimum, you need 440 square meters and 60 square meters of water. So you do need water for these guys. Group size of 3 to 9, only 1 male, as you'd expect. Males are slightly larger. Research status, they also can use the mud bath, which is cool. I don't think we have many deer, if any. The moose might be able to. We'll see that in a bit. Takin, they can do interspecies enrichment with, and that's based off several zoos having them. But they've got this very interesting antler structure, as you can kind of tell. And they've got the musk gland underneath the eye right there. They've got a really nice looking eye. Very cool looking. I would be interested to see how these guys compare, like, model wise next to the red deer. We might do a little test there. Our elephants are coming in, but let's look at the cutest member of this pack, and that is the tanuki, or Japanese raccoon dog. They look spectacular. We finally have a climbing canid. I mean, I say finally. There's only 2 in existence. Oh, he just sat down. So cute. They are pretty awesome looking. And then Zoopedia, least concern. They go over this range. I want to say that the Japanese raccoon dog doesn't get in this entire area, but whatever. Doesn't need a very large enclosure, unlike other canids, so I'm wondering if Planet Zoo Plus is working for that one. I don't know. So, temperate, I was kind of expecting there to be some taiga regions, but you can have them in a pretty large group. They do live in family packs. I thought they were solitary, but no interspecies enrichment, and then pretty standard canine enrichment options. Let's see if we can get them climbing. Nope. Well, I don't have too much time to linger because I need to get this all edited before I go to work. But here we go with the Bornean elephant. I was hoping that these guys could deep dive. I don't know if they can. I don't think they can. Well, but they look really good. I was a big Bornean elephant hater, but the model for these guys looks spectacular. This enclosure is very small for them, but we're just going to pretend like it makes sense. So if we go to Zoopedia, they are endangered. They don't have a requirement for deep diving, so I'm going to guess that they don't deep dive, which that was a rumor. I was hoping. They only live in this very small area, and there's only roughly 400 in the wild, which is kind of crazy. They, of course, need a pretty large area, but not too bad for such a large species. They do need water. And then 3 to 30 in a group. So you'll want to have... The male is larger and significantly heavier. Research status, you can get... Or enrichment, you've got a lot of options here. I've been hearing that the Indian elephant will, and you can share their enclosure with the Asian small-clawed otter, Bornean orangutan, proboscis monkey. I've been hearing the Indian elephant can't use the piano, and that's true. So they do have new animations with the piano. Oh, look at the texture on them when they're wet. These guys look spectacular. Absolutely stunning. So let's just real quick do a test of how big the red deer is compared to the Pierre David's deer, because that's something I want to see, and just see how other models line up. I feel like the red deer would be a species that you would kind of see interspecies enrichment with. I wonder if there's going to be mods that will just update the interspecies enrichment, because that seems like something that would be worth doing. Come on, people. Go grab that deer. Overall, I think this pack is spectacular. I think most of the building pieces are going to be useful in some instances. You've got some of the smallest pieces in game, which is great. All these animals look amazing. Frontier's really stepped up their design, which means they're actually really working on the game, which makes me think that we're going to have quite a few DLCs in the future. I mean, just these guys look spectacular. All the ungulates in Planet Zoo look good in general. Alright, let's get a size comparison. Nope, I'm sorry. You can't rest. I need to see you two combined. Obviously, the red deer is chunkier. Significantly larger. Okay. But that was pretty cool. So, overall, I'd rate this pack an 8.5 out of 10. I think the Bornean elephant kind of keeps it down in the fact that we could have used another species. There are other Asian species that really need to be in the game that the Bornean elephant doesn't need to be in the game. Raccoon dog is a spectacular addition. Maybe I would say a 9 out of 10, because we've got some really good pieces. I don't think the pieces hold this pack back at all. I think all the animal models, this is the only thing that holds it back. So yeah, I would highly recommend this DLC to you. I think it's pretty nice, but you'll have to make that decision for yourself. No matter the case, though, we do have a good amount of free update things that are actually really cool. But I gotta go edit this video and everything, so hope to see y'all later. I guess I should also say I am streaming tonight. If you're seeing this the day that it went up, I will be streaming the game, going to be finishing the building for the lion-tailed macaques and maybe even the honey badger. It kind of depends on that one, is if I can get Planet Zoo Plus to work with a honey badger, because I don't want to make 600 square meters for the species. Though I guess I should just make their enclosure smaller and turn off animal welfare. I might do that, because that's a little ridiculous. But yeah, I'll see y'all in the next one, guys. Go ahead and check my stream out tonight if you want to see that. Go ahead and join my Discord to get any stream notifications. I'll put that link in the description. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.